Hello everybody, Miguel here from Unique Web Designer, and in this video we are going to discuss web design scams and how to avoid them, what to do in order to find a good web design company. And it sucks that there are web design companies and freelancers out there that are just looking to steal your money. And I know the feeling. I know the feeling of getting scammed, how horrible you feel. You just worked a bunch of hours or whatnot to make this money. Then you spent it, you gave it to a company, and then they took it and ran away with it. It sucks. It definitely sucks. And that is why I decided to create this video, because of my experience, my knowledge, and what I've seen in this industry over time. So hopefully by watching this video, you guys can avoid some of the mistakes that I've seen other people make when hiring a web design company. So I put together a small document here where, just to make sure that I don't forget any of the scams, the most common scams that I've seen. And so let's just get right to it. Number one is rock bottom pricing and outsource work. And when it comes to rock bottom pricing, it's simple. If it's too good to be true, it is. That is the same in every industry, no matter what industry. If you need a doctor, you need your car, you need a car mechanic, you need to paint your house. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So stay away from rock bottom pricing. The best thing, the best advice that I can give you is to do something that's very simple. Whenever you decide to have a website created for your business, call 3 to 5 web design companies that show up on Google. Look at the reviews. If you see a company that doesn't have a lot of reviews, just don't call them. Or if you want, go ahead, call one of those and see the difference in pricing. Obviously, if 4 out of the 5 companies are, let's say, within 2,000 to 3,000 for a 5-page website, then one of the companies says, hey, we can do it for $300. That's the company that you want to run away from. That's the company that is probably going to provide you low quality web design work. That's the company that's going to steal your money. That's the company that's going to run away. And that's just the company that you want to stay away from. Now, at the same time, if you have one of those 5 companies tell you, oh, it's $20,000, even though everyone else is between $2,000 and $3,000, then you may want to run away from that $20,000 company as well. And the reason for that is because that $20,000 price is probably because this is a large company. It's a company that has a huge brand. They probably have a bunch of offices. They probably have a ton of overhead. So they're charging you for that. It doesn't mean that they're going to do better work than anyone else. It just means that they have a lot more cost involved. And so you definitely want to stay away from them. And now, when I say stay away from them, I just mean save your money. You can save some money. If you have a ton of money, you want to spend it, okay, go ahead, go for the top guy. But you don't have to. I mean, if you can get a website done for $2,000 or $20,000 and it's the exact same website, I would definitely do it for $2,000. So do your due diligence, call a few companies, see what the ballpark price range that everybody is in. Stay away from the rock bottom pricing. Stay away from the super top ones. And not that the top ones are going to scam you. It's just that obviously you can save that money and use it somewhere else. And when it comes to outsourcing work, I will be honest, like a lot of companies, when they outsource work, they just basically say, hey, these are the guidelines, here, take it. And then they, once the company sends back the work, they send it right back to you. And what happens is that a lot of times they outsource to overseas, and there's an English barrier. Even though these people, the developers, they speak English, but there's a barrier when it comes to actual communication. And when I was starting out, I hired a lot of these developers from India, the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and so on. So I understand that barrier when it comes to communication. And if the company is not on top of everything, the quality is going to be horrible. And it's not that they do bad work, it's just that because of that communication gap, they do certain things that because they think should be done that way, not because you actually ask them to do it. And you'll get a lot of back and forth with, quality issues, and you definitely want to avoid that. And I won't lie, like whenever we get too busy and if we have like too many contracts at the same time, and I see, hey, if we don't get somebody in, we're going to, miss some of our deadlines. I contract some web developers to come work for us on a contract base. So they're not permanent employees, they're just subcontractors that I say, hey, I need your help with this. And then we show them the website, we show them what needs to be done, and I actually have a person that double checks their work. Once that work is double checked, then I personally check the work. So in other words, we do a lot of quality control to avoid a lot of these issues. Now we actually charge fair prices, so we have the time, we can spend that time. Whenever you have a combination of rock bottom pricing and outsourced work, you definitely don't have any quality control. Why? Because that person isn't going to have the time to be looking over, someone else's work. So stay away from rock bottom pricing and outsourced work. And if a company tells you straight up, hey, we're outsourcing, but they're charging you a fair amount, and you can verify their portfolio, the reviews that they've had, and maybe get on the phone with somebody that they built the website for to see the experience that they had, give them a shot. Like, there's nothing wrong with outsourced work. It's just that outsourced work combined with rock bottom pricing is a big no-no. And that leads us to the number two scam, and that is free web design offers. This one is, free. Come on. Web design takes time. If you want like a 3 to 5 page website, normally somebody's going to spend between 15 and 25 hours to create this website for you. Now, if they're using a template, they may be able to do it within 10 to 15 hours. If it's custom, then it's definitely going to be 20 to 30 hours. So, but it takes time. Like, there's no way of getting around that. Like, some people will create these YouTube videos where they show you, hey, I created a website in, like 2 hours. But guess what? Is that website optimized? Does that website satisfy Google when it comes to, having your headings in the right place, being SEO optimized when it comes to on-page SEO? Probably not. Why? Because they haven't spent the time. They didn't spend the time to actually do all of these things. Is the website fast? Is the website how would I say? Is the website configured to convert well? Like, these are a lot of the things that, when you get these people, oh, I can create a website for you for free, or I can do a template website for you, or I can do all of these things for you by magic, by not spending too much time on it. It's just not worth it. If somebody's offering a free web design offer, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to sell you something else. So they're going to give you a free website that's not optimized, that's probably not mobile friendly, that's has a bunch of problems, and then they're going to upsell you on a lot of other things. Maybe they upsell you on hosting, they may upsell you on selling you the domain. Maybe they're gonna say, hey, we can handle your chat, we can do this, we can do that, and then charge you monthly fees that to make back that money. So definitely stay away, run away. I don't know how to even emphasize it more. Free web design offers, run away. Big no. That's a scam, and you are going to regret it. Now, number 3, stolen template and copyright violations. This one is very hard for you to catch, because basically what a template is just an already designed website. So, and a lot of companies, they sell these templates. So let's say if you saw a template that you like, maybe it costs $100, $50 or whatnot. So you grab that template, you put it up on your website. Let's say you're using WordPress, so you put it up on the WordPress backend, and once that template is on your website, on your platform, the WordPress, you can go in there and modify the content, change the images, change the headings, change the text, and so on. Now what happens is that some companies, what they'll do, they'll buy one template and then they'll sell it to a bunch of different people. Most templates are only to be used with one website. So you could get into trouble, because if the company that made the template can see that you're using their template yet you didn't pay them for it, then they can sue you, and there's nothing that you can do to avoid that. Like if they see it, it's kind of like back in the day when people were downloading, music, and they weren't paying the royalties, they weren't paying anybody, they were just downloading it. And a lot of times you were downloading it from a source that actually paid for it, but you were downloading it from them. You were not paying the producer, you were not paying the company that actually created the music. In other words, you were doing something illegal, and this is what this would be. You are using something that you didn't pay for, and unfortunately you won't know. Why? Because this company or this freelancer may tell you, hey, I'm gonna use this template and yada yada. But so the only thing that you can do in order to avoid this is basically ask your company, hey, are you going to use a template, or are you going to use, or are you going to custom code the website? And if they tell you, hey, we're using a template, then ask them, hey, can I get a verification that the template was paid for? In other words, hey, can you show me a product key or a purchase receipt of you having purchased this template for my website? And a lot of times, like, we use templates sometimes, and what we do is we actually show the client the receipt. So we show you the receipt. On top of that, when they give us the product key, we give you the product key. We put it in the system so that obviously the website can update and everything, but we also give you the product key. In other words, you own the product key, you have all the information. If anybody comes to you saying, hey, why are you using this template if you didn't pay for it, then you could say, no, look, this is my product key and this is the receipt when my web design company bought the template. So you can be, free. You can use it for one website, and that's the thing. The problem is when you start using it for multiple websites, that's illegal. And yes, there are some templates that you can use for multiple websites, but you'll see that because the template is, or whenever the template is purchased, it's going to tell you for how many websites you can use it. So just keep that in mind. If they're going to use templates, just make sure that you ask, hey, can you show me, can you validate that this template was purchased for my website? And if it's one of those that's like a mass template that you can use on more websites, just make sure that there's a product key that's aligned to your template, to your specific website. So definitely ask and verify. Now, when it comes to copyright violations, it's basically using things that are not yours. So a lot of times web design companies will grab an image from somewhere and then they'll slap it on your website without asking for permission, without paying for it. And I don't know why web design companies do this anymore, because there's a lot of free, royalty free images out there, but it does happen, and you definitely have to do your due diligence to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. And that gets us to number 4. And number 4 is ignoring SEO and mobile friendliness. Listen, if you're going to build a website, and your web design company is ignoring SEO and mobile friendliness, you have nothing. Most people nowadays are surfing the web on their mobile phones, on their mobile devices, be it, your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet, or whatnot. Yes, there's some traffic that still comes from desktops, but most traffic nowadays is from mobile devices. In other words, if your website is not mobile friendly, you are going to lose 60 to 70% of the traffic that's going to go to your website. And heck, you're not even going to get to that point, because if Google realizes that your website is not mobile friendly, it's not going to rank it, it's not going to send you traffic. So you're just going to be in the abyss. Nobody's going to know that your website exists. And when it comes to the SEO part of it, so on page SEO, in other words, is your website using the right headings? Is your website using the right keywords? Is your website optimized for speed? In other words, if I go to your website and your website takes 1 minute to load, that's a big no-no. You do not want a slow website. Google detests, hates slow websites. In other words, make sure that your website is fast. Make sure that your website is using headings. Make sure that the images on your website are properly named. Make sure that the URL structure is correct. So in other words, don't ignore on-page SEO. And the best way to make sure that your web design company is doing it properly is by learning a little bit about on-page SEO yourself. And you don't have to become a guru. If you watch 2 or 3 videos on on-page SEO on YouTube, you're going to learn enough that you'll be able to tell if the company that you hire is understanding of SEO principles, of on-page SEO principles. And you can definitely, when you're doing your due diligence before you contract, before doing a contract with a company, you can definitely contact some of the references that they've given you, and you can ask them, hey, how is your SEO? How is your website ranking? How is this going? How is that going? And obviously the rankings are not going to come right away. So a lot of times, even though you have proper on-page SEO, because your off-page SEO is falling back, you may not rank, but at least you can get an idea. If most businesses are telling you, the references that you call, if they're telling you, oh yes, the on-page SEO was very good, they helped us with this, they talked to us about doing this, doing that to help us with our on-page SEO, then you can start, building an idea of, obviously this company knows what they're talking about when it comes to on-page SEO. So just keep that in mind. Definitely watch a video or two, and whenever you talk to these companies that are, that you're considering for building your website, ask about on-page SEO. What is it that they do? What is their process? And mobile friendliness. How do they make sure? How do they test? How do they guarantee that your website is going to be mobile friendly? And that leads us to number 5, lack of ownership and update access. And this one is it's one of my biggest pet peeve. And the reason why this is because I believe if you come to me and you want me to build a website, that's what I need to do for you. I do not need to own your website. I do not need to own your domain. I do not need to own anything that's yours. You came to me for advice. You came to me to provide a service, not to basically become the owner of your business. And what happens is that a lot of web design companies, they buy the domain that you want, and then they keep the ownership of it. They build a website for you. They put it up on the domain, but guess what? If they own the domain, that's it. Like anything that you do, if later on you want to sell your business or whatnot, if they own the domain, the URL, then you can't sell that. You can't do whatever you want with it. And if they're giving you a hard time about giving you access to, to the back end, which is update access, then stay away from them. Why? Because if you're having a website built, you should own everything. You should get your own hosting. In other words, where your website is stored, you should pay for that yourself. You should get your own domain. In other words, the URL. And they should provide you with backend access, so administrator access. In other words, if let's say they go haywire, they go missing or whatnot, you can't get a hold of them, you can easily have someone else update your website if it comes to that. Like, maybe a year down the line you want to make some updates, and if you don't have access to the back end, you cannot make those updates. And if that company went belly up, you won't be able to make those updates. Why? Because you don't have access to the back end, you don't own your domain, and you don't own the hosting. So in other words, make sure that you own everything, that you are doing everything. Pay for your hosting, buy the domain, and get admin access. Never ever do business with a company that does not give you all that information, or that doesn't allow you to purchase your own domain, to buy your own hosting, and to give you administrator access. Now, here I'm just gonna give you some tips on how to hire a web design company. And I wrote some stuff out, but to be honest, I'm just going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do. Okay, number one is don't go with the very first company that you contact. The best way to go about it is, like, let's just say you're in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm gonna go incognito so that the information we see is 100%. Let's say you're in Fort Lauderdale and you're looking for a web design company. So let's just type in Fort Lauderdale web design, and I'm just gonna show you what I would do if I was looking for a web design company to do a website for me. So right here, the Google results, I'm just gonna go to more, and I'm just going to go by the maps results so that I can work with companies that are near me, because on the organic searches, those aren't aligned by companies that are nearest to you. Those are basically the organic results, and it could be a company that's anywhere in that town. So the maps is usually whoever's closest to you has a better chance of ranking. So that's why I use the maps, and I'll show you again since I did it real quick. So I did the search for Lauderdale web design, and then I'm gonna go to more businesses here. I'm gonna click right here and see more businesses. And so number one, as you can see, it's us, Unique Web Designer. Thank you very much. We definitely know what we're doing when it comes to SEO, and this is proof. So I don't want to toot my horn. I just like it makes me happy to actually see us showing up as number one. And in some places, depending on where you are, we may be number two, number three when you search for a lot of the web design. But it's definitely something that I'm very proud of, that we are showing, number one to number five for everything web design and web development related in Fort Lauderdale. Why? Because it shows that we definitely know exactly what we're doing when it comes to local SEO and getting, that visibility that every business needs. And so going back to our document. So this is what I would do if I needed to hire a web design company. I'm gonna do a search, whatever town you're in. So in this case, for Lauderdale web design. Then I'm gonna see, okay, number one, they have 46 reviews, so, and 5 stars. Number two, they have 15 reviews, 4.9. Number three, 29 reviews, 5. Number four, 20 reviews, 5. Number 5, 64 reviews, 4.9. And number 6, 5 stars for 30 reviews. So in other words, most everybody has between 15 and 50 reviews. So I'm going to pick the top 5, regardless of who they are. I'm going to pick the top 5, and I'm going to hit the call button. And now, here's another thing that I like doing too, is I like to go to their website, and let's just pull up a couple of websites just for show. And I'm gonna go to the section where they have their portfolio. So I'm gonna look at their portfolio, see what it's all about. And so in our case, we actually link to the websites that we created. Some of them we don't link out to because the businesses do not want us to link out, but some we do. So in other words, right here, you can see this website. We created it, and it's part of our portfolio. In other words, you can confirm that we created this website. And most of the websites that we do link out to, there's our signature is down here. So you can see designed by Unique Web Designer. In other words, you know that we designed this website. There's no guessing. We designed this website. That's why our signature is at the bottom. And so I'm gonna definitely look at the portfolio, and I'm going to see, a lot of companies don't do the signature at the bottom, which is understandable because we have a lot of businesses that don't want to see for us to put our signature. So definitely not everybody is going to allow us, but that's something that you can look for just to verify, hey, did they build this website? And so here's the other company that we decided to look at. So right here is their portfolio, as you can see, and they're showing you several websites that they built. So let's just visit websites, see what happens. And here we can see the website that they built. So this is definitely something that I'm going to do. So let's say on mine, let me go and visit this website, see what. So you come here and you're seeing, okay, I linked to this website. And if we go to the bottom, so this is one of the businesses that obviously, as you can see, they didn't allow us to put our signature at the bottom. And therefore, you cannot say like, oh, I saw their signature, but that's okay. Obviously, you saw the link on our website, so we must have created this website. In other words, the point of this is that, don't just go by what you see right here. Do a little more work. Do your due diligence. Look at the profile or the portfolio for each of the top 5 companies, and then come back here and call each one. Let them know, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I expect, and I just want to get some guidance, and I want to see, how long it would take and to get a price quote. Now, once they give you a price, then you go to the second one, you go to the third one, you go to the fourth one, you go to the fifth one. If any of the top 5 gives you a hard time, or they're like, oh, we'll send you a quote, and they don't send it to you right away or whatnot, then go to number 6. If you don't feel comfortable with the kind of like that first contact with any of the companies, regardless of their reviews or whatnot, then move on. Go to the next one. Call number 6. If call number 7, call number 8. Just make sure that they have a good profile where they have at least 10 feedback when it comes to for web design, at least 10 reviews, because that lets you know, okay, they work with several companies and so on. Like any company that has 50, 40, 30 reviews, they're definitely legit. So definitely do your due diligence to avoid web design scams. And I definitely hope this video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, please share it and subscribe to the channel. And as always, Unique is out.